Ladies and gentlemen, we often set unrealistic expectations for ourselves, thinking that if we achieve certain goals, attain a specific status, or meet particular standards, only we feel truly happy. The truth is, these expectations are often shaped by external pressure, society, social media, family, and even our own inner critic. We believe that happiness comes from achieving something perfect, but perfection is a moving target, and chasing it only leads to frustration. We compare ourselves to others who seem to have it all together, seeing their accomplishments as a reflection of what we should be doing. But behind every success story, there's a different journey filled with its own set of struggles and sacrifices. Yet we continue to compare our beginnings with someone else's middle, failing to see that everyone is walking a different path with a different set of challenges. The problem with unrealistic expectations is that they create an illusion of success that doesn't align with reality. We set ourselves up to fail because these goals are often based on false assumptions about what happiness really is. When we expect ourselves to always be perfect, to always have everything figured out, we rob ourselves the opportunity to grow through the process. We forget that growth comes with trial and error, with moments of imperfection and mistakes that shape us into the person we are meant to become. The fear of failure, driven by the expectation of perfection, keeps us from taking the necessary steps forward, which leads to stagnation. We end up in a cycle where we feel constantly inadequate, thinking that the next achievement or the next accomplishment will finally bring us the happiness we seek, only to realize that the goalpost has moved again. This unrealistic drive for perfection can bleed into every area of life, work, relationships, health, even spirituality. At work, we push ourselves beyond our limits, constantly feeling that we must be the hardest worker in the room, even if it means sacrificing our well-being. In relationships, we expect others to meet our needs perfectly, which creates tension and disappointment. We forget that real connections are formed in the mess, in the imperfections, and in the grace we extend to one another. Our health becomes another area where unrealistic expectations take their toll. We set ourselves on extreme diets, rigorous fitness routines, and impossible standards of beauty. And when we can't meet those standards, we feel inadequate, ashamed, and discouraged. Instead of focusing on holistic well-being, we focus on achieving an image or a number, missing the fact that health is a journey, one that requires patience, compassion, and consistency, not perfection. The underlying issue is that we often define our worth by what we achieve or by how close we get to this image of perfection. But the reality is, life is messy. Success isn't a straight line, and happiness doesn't come from reaching an endpoint. It's the process, the journey, the learning, and the growing that leads to fulfillment. The problem with unrealistic expectations is that they limit our ability to appreciate the small victories and the progress we make each day. Instead of celebrating the steps we take toward our goals, we focus on how far we still have to go, making it easy to overlook the joy that comes with the process itself. We have to redefine success, not by how close we are to perfection, but by how much we've learned and grown along the way. Only then can we begin to embrace happiness, not as a distant destination, but as a state of being that's available to us at every stage of our journey. We often find ourselves living in the past, holding on to old wounds, regrets, and missed opportunities, allowing them to shape our present and future. We let the mistakes we've made, the people who have hurt us in the past we didn't take to find who we are today. The past can become a heavy weight we carry, and instead of learning from it, we allow it to keep us stuck in a cycle of regret and sorrow. The more we dwell on what could have been, the harder it becomes to appreciate what is. When we focus too much on the past, we are unable to fully engage with the present. Our minds are constantly replaying what went wrong, analyzing what we could have done differently, and wondering if things would have turned out better if we had made different choices. But the truth is, we can't change the past. No matter how much time we spend revisiting it, it will always be behind us. What truly matters is what we choose to do with the present moment, the decisions we make right now. and the actions we take moving forward. Holding on to past mistakes and regrets only keeps us from seeing the possibilities that lie in front of us. Often we cling to the past because it feels safer. We know it, even though it may not always be comfortable. There's a certain familiarity in reliving our old struggles and heartaches. It's almost as if the pain gives us a sense of control because we can predict what happened, even if it wasn't ideal. But this false sense of security keeps us from experiencing the freedom and joy that can come with letting go. The past was a chapter in our story, but it doesn't define our entire narrative. If we allow ourselves to keep turning back to those old pages, we'll miss the new chapters unfolding in our lives right now. Sometimes the past can also hold us hostage with its what ifs. What if I have taken that job? What if I have said something to that person? What if I have made different decisions? These questions are valid, but they can be paralyzing if we allow them to dominate our thoughts. We forget that life doesn't operate on a fixed script. It's not about the perfect decisions, but about the journey, the lessons, and the growth that comes with every step, regardless of where we started. What matters is how we respond to the present moment, how we choose to rise from past setbacks, and how we open ourselves up to new possibilities. In some cases, we hold on to the past because of unforgiven hurts. People have wronged us, betrayed our trust, or failed to meet our expectations. The pain from those experiences can linger for years, clouding our ability to experience joy in the present. We often think that forgiving others means excusing their behavior or forgetting what happened, but forgiveness is about freeing ourselves from the grip of that pain. When we release the past, we allow ourselves to move forward, opening up space for healing and new opportunities. Living in the past can also rob us of our ability to grow. We get so focused on what's behind us that we stop looking ahead. The future is filled with opportunities, new relationships, new beginnings, and new lessons. But we can't see those opportunities if our eyes are constantly fixed on what we've already been through. Every day is a chance to start fresh, to make new choices, and to create the life we desire. But we must be willing to let go of the past in order to embrace what lies ahead. We live in a world where comparison has become a silent thief, stealing our joy and peace of mind. Every day we are exposed to the highlight reels of other people's lives, whether it's through social media, the workplace, or even among friends and family. We see their successes, their vacations, their perfect relationships, and we measure our own lives against them. The danger of this constant comparison is that we forget the uniqueness of our own journey. Instead of appreciating where we are and who we are becoming, we become consumed by the desire to be like someone else, to measure up to an ideal that may not even be real. We often find ourselves thinking that others have it easier, that they are more successful, more talented, or more fulfilled. We see their accomplishments and feel as though we're falling short. But what we forget in these moments is that we are only seeing a small fraction of their story. We aren't privy to their struggles, their failures, or the hard work they put in to get to where they are. We don't see their setbacks, their challenges, or the sacrifices they've made. When we compare ourselves to others, we are only comparing our behind the scenes with their highlight reel. This constant comparison leads to feelings of inadequacy. We begin to question our worth, thinking that if we don't measure up to others, we aren't good enough. We may feel discouraged, thinking that we are somehow failing because we haven't achieved what others have. This can erode our self-esteem and lead us to believe that our value is based solely on what we accomplish or how we measure up to others. But the truth is, our value is not defined by comparisons. Our worth is inherent in who we are, not in how we stack up against anyone else. We must remember that everyone's journey is different. We are all walking a path that is uniquely ours, and we cannot expect our timeline to mirror someone else's. Some may experience success early, while others may take longer to find their footing. Some may appear to have everything figured out, but their inner world may be filled with uncertainties. The reality is there is no one size fits all when it comes to success, happiness, or fulfillment. What brings one person joy may not bring another person the same fulfillment, and that's okay. We each have our own dreams, our own desires, and our own purpose in this life. When we stop comparing ourselves to others, we free ourselves to fully embrace our own potential. We begin to see that our journey, with all its twists and turns, is exactly what we need. The experiences we've had, the challenges we've faced, and the lessons we've learned are all part of a process that is shaping us into the person we are meant to become. Instead of looking outward for validation, we learn to look inward, to appreciate how far we've come, and to celebrate the growth we've experienced along the way. Comparison can also prevent us from celebrating our own successes. When we constantly measure our achievements against others, we diminish the significance of our own progress. A small victory in our life, when compared to someone else's, can seem insignificant. But in reality, every step forward, no matter how small, is worth celebrating. Each day we continue to move forward. Each decision we make to keep going is a victory in itself. We don't need to wait for the approval or recognition of others to feel proud of what we've accomplished. Let go of the need to compare. Embrace your own journey with all its ups and downs. Trust that you are exactly where you need to be, and that your path is unfolding in the perfect way for you. The only person you need to measure yourself against is the person you were yesterday. Every day is a new opportunity to grow, to improve, and to become more aligned with the person you are meant to be. Let go of the comparison trap and focus on your own life, your own dreams, and your own unique story. We live in a world that often focuses on what we lack rather than what we have. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that we need more to be happy, more money, more success, more recognition, more material possessions. We constantly find ourselves looking for that next thing that will bring us happiness, thinking that once we attain it, everything will be perfect. But the reality is, when we focus on what's missing, we overlook the many blessings we already have. Gratitude is not just about saying thank you for the big things, but about recognizing and appreciating the small things, the things that we sometimes take for granted. When we wake up every morning and focus on what we don't have, we start our day with a sense of lack. We think, I don't have enough money, I don't have the right job, I'm not in the relationship I want, and so on. This mindset keeps us stuck in a cycle of wanting and striving, but never feeling fulfilled. We forget that happiness doesn't come from the accumulation of things or achievements. It comes from a mindset shift, a change in how we see the world and our place in it. When we make gratitude a daily practice, we begin to see that what we have is more than enough. Gratitude allows us to shift our focus from what's lacking to what's abundant in our lives. It's about recognizing the people who love us, the opportunities we've been given, and the simple joys that we sometimes overlook. When we stop and take a moment to be grateful for the small things, a kind word from a friend, a warm meal, a roof over our heads, we begin to realize that we already have everything we need to be content. In fact, some of the things we take for granted are the very things others are longing for. The simple act of appreciating what's in front of us opens our eyes to the richness of our lives. Too often we focus on what we don't have because we think that happiness lies in the future once we reach a certain goal, achieve a particular status, or acquire more things. But the truth is, happiness isn't a destination, it's a choice. It's about choosing to be grateful in the here and now, regardless of our circumstances. When we're constantly chasing the next thing, we miss out on the joy that comes with being present in the moment. Gratitude grounds us in the present, reminding us that there is beauty and peace to be found in what we already have. A lack of gratitude can also lead to feelings of jealousy and discontent. We look at others and think, why do they have what I want? We become fixated on what we don't have, failing to see the abundance in our own lives. This creates a sense of competition rather than connection, and instead of celebrating others' successes, we feel threatened by them. But when we practice gratitude, we realize that someone else's success doesn't diminish our own. There's more than enough to go around, and we all have our own unique path and blessings to celebrate. Living with gratitude shifts our perspective on challenges too. When we're grateful, we're better able to see the lessons in our struggles. Hard times become opportunities for growth and learning. Instead of focusing on what we've lost, we begin to appreciate what we've gained: the strength, the resilience, the wisdom that comes from overcoming adversity. Gratitude helps us build resilience because it reminds us that even in the most difficult moments, we still have reasons to be thankful. We must train our minds to look for the good in every situation. Gratitude doesn't mean ignoring the challenges or pretending that everything is perfect. It means choosing to focus on what is good and right in our lives, no matter how small it may seem. When we make gratitude a habit, it becomes a lens through which we view the world, a lens that reveals the countless blessings that are often hidden in plain sight. Fear of change is one of the biggest barriers to our happiness and growth. We get comfortable with what we know, even if it's not ideal, and the thought of stepping into the unknown can feel overwhelming. We resist change because it challenges our sense of security, even if that security is only an illusion. We tell ourselves that the risk isn't worth it, that it's better to stay where we are, even if it means settling for less than what we truly want. But in reality, the fear of change often keeps us stuck, preventing us from reaching our full potential and experiencing the life we are truly capable of living. Change requires us to leave behind the familiar and embrace the uncertainty of the unknown. It asks us to take a leap of faith, to trust that there's something better waiting for us on the other side. This can be terrifying, especially when we've built a life around certain routines, relationships, and expectations. The comfort of the familiar creates a false sense of safety, even if it's holding us back from growth. The fear of losing what we have, even if it isn't serving us, often outweighs the excitement of what could be. But when we refuse to make changes, we limit ourselves. We prevent new opportunities, new experiences, and new possibilities from entering our lives. The fear of change can manifest in different ways. Sometimes it shows up as procrastination, putting off making decisions or taking action because we're afraid of the consequences. Other times it comes in the form of self-doubt, where we question whether we are capable of navigating change or handling the challenges that might come with it. The fear of making a mistake, of choosing the wrong path, can paralyze us and keep us from moving forward. We become so consumed with the idea of failure that we don't even try. What we fail to realize is that change isn't about being perfect. It's about taking action, learning from the process, and adapting along the way. One of the most powerful truths about change is that it's inevitable. Life constantly changes whether we are ready for it or not. Our circumstances shift, relationships evolve, and new challenges arise. Fighting against change is like trying to swim upstream. It's exhausting and ultimately unproductive. Instead of resisting, we must learn to embrace change, to see it as an opportunity for growth and transformation. Change can be the catalyst that pushes us toward becoming a better version of ourselves. It can open doors we never even imagined and lead us down a path that is more aligned with our true desires and purpose. The key to embracing change is to shift our mindset. Instead of focusing on what we stand to lose, we need to focus on what we stand to gain. It's easy to get caught up in the fear of the unknown, but every change presents a chance to learn, to expand our horizons, and to become more resilient. Even when things don't go as planned, we gain valuable insights that help us grow stronger and wiser. Change helps us break free from our comfort zones, pushing us to adapt, to think differently, and to take risks that lead to personal growth and fulfillment. Fear of change also prevents us from pursuing our dreams. We might tell ourselves that it's too late to start something new, or that the timing isn't right, or that we're not equipped for the journey. But the truth is, it's never too late to make a change, to start something new, or to chase after what we truly want. The only thing holding us back is our own fear. If we choose to stay where we are, we may never know what we're capable of achieving. Embracing change means stepping out in faith, trusting that we are capable of handling whatever comes our way, and believing that the best is yet to come. We spend so much of our time worrying about what's coming next or reflecting on what's already happened that we often forget to fully embrace the present moment. The future is always just out of reach, filled with uncertainties and what ifs, and the past is a collection of memories and regrets that we can't change. When we focus too much on either of these, we miss out on the richness of the moment we are living right now. Life at its core is happening in the present, and this is where true happiness resides. Yet too many of us are constantly consumed by the anxiety of what's next or the weight of what's behind us, preventing us from truly living in the here and now. Our minds are often filled with thoughts of tomorrow, wondering if we'll achieve our goals, if we'll find success, or if we'll ever feel secure. We're conditioned to think that happiness is always just around the corner, waiting for us to reach the next milestone or achieve the next goal. We live with the belief that once we get there, whatever there may be, everything will be better, and we'll finally be at peace. But the truth is, when we're always chasing the future, we can never truly appreciate the present. The future will always be just a little bit ahead of us, and no matter how much we plan for it, it's always out of our control. By focusing so much on what's next, we forget that everything we need to be content is already available to us right now. At the same time, we spend so much energy reflecting on the past. We replay old mistakes, revisit old wounds, and wonder what we could have done differently. The past has a way of shaping our thoughts and decisions, and now often find ourselves wishing we could go back and change things. But the past is over. We cannot undo what's been done or rewrite the story we've already lived. When we fixate on what has already happened, we get trapped in a cycle of regret or nostalgia, believing that things were better before, that we somehow missed our chance. The truth is, the past is a part of our journey, but it doesn't define us. What matters now is how we use the lessons learned from the past to move forward in the present. The present moment, however, is where life truly happens. Right here, right now is where we have the power to create change, to make choices, and to experience the beauty that surrounds us. The simple moments like the warmth of the sun in your face, the sound of laughter with loved ones, the quiet peace of a morning coffee are all opportunities for joy and gratitude. When we are fully present, we begin to see the blessings that are already here in the midst of the ordinary. We realize that we don't need to wait for something big to happen in order to feel fulfilled. Every moment is an opportunity to appreciate life as it is in all its imperfect glory. By learning to embrace the present, we free ourselves from the constant stress of what's to come and the burden of what's been. We stop waiting for the right time and start living fully in the now. The key is to release the pressure to have everything figured out and simply allow ourselves to be. Life isn't about rushing toward a destination or dwelling on what's behind us. It's about fully experiencing the journey. When we make peace with the present, we make room for joy, gratitude, and connection. We begin to see that happiness isn't a future event. It's a choice we make every single day in every moment we live. Remember, happiness starts within. The key is to shift our mindset, let go of what no longer serves us, and focus on the blessings in our lives today.